Welcome to the Milk and Cookies podcast. This is the super amazing podcast that has absolutely everything to do with American football and absolutely nothing to do with milk and cookies. My name is Alex. I'm joined today with Anthony. Leon is out, but he will be back very, very soon.
Not dead.
Yep, he's not dead. Do we have to say that every single time when Leon's not
Yes.
here? Okay. Anyway, we're going over the NFC North today. In case you didn't know, that is the Packers, the Vikings, the Bears, and the Lions. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So the Green Bay Packers, a team that has had a fantastic decade, I would say. The 2010s is probably been a fantastic decade, except for the 2018 season where they won 6-9-1. I have nothing bad to say about the Packers. I genuinely don't have anything bad to say. Aside from the Buccaneers, this is the best team in the NFC. Not to flaunt your ego or anything there, Anthony, but I genuinely think that aside from the Bucs, the Packers are the best team. Now, granted, that's just on paper at least. I mean, they still have future first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback. They brought back Aaron Jones. The offensive line is still fantastic, especially with Bakatari. Despite losing Corey Linsley to the Chargers, wide receiver core is still fantastic. The defense is
Their wide receiver core is amazing.
Yes, especially with Adams and even being able to bump up some of
Scantling.
Scantling is not considered to be one of the best, but he still would really.
And then they took a receiver out of Clemson in this
Amari
draft.
Rodgers, yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
They love players with the last name of Rodgers, I can tell you that. But especially
one Rodgers player won't be there.
Yeah, I know. They're definitely trying to keep the Rodgers there, but I mean, aside from the offense, I do like their defense, except for the cornerback situation. You take away Jari Alexander, they don't really have anybody else. But luckily, with them taking the cornerback Eric Stokes from Georgia in the first round,
which I think is a reach.
I think it's a reach, but at the exact same time, I think it's.
He was projected day 2. There were so many other secondary and corners that could be there, could be options. Trayvon Moehrig, Asante Samuel Jr., two of those players.
As much as I would have loved to see Asante Samuel Jr. go to the Packers, the one thing I will say is compared to scheme and overall fit, Stokes was the best fit. So yeah, I will agree with you when I do say it was a reach, because Stokes was a mid-second that was elevated to a late
mid-second, maybe third day.
No, I would not say third day. I'd say a mid-second round pick, maybe early
mid-second, third.
But I think it was reasonable. I think they had the best plan in mind for them. The D line is still great. Linebacker core is still fantastic. I mean, you got anything else to add to that?
Honestly, if the Packers trade Aaron Rodgers, one of the Rodgers that's on this team, they're not. Do you have Jordan Love at the helm of your quarterback situation? I just don't see the Packers this year it's going to be filled with drama this whole year. I think Packers honestly go like 10-7 or not even. I don't see the Packers having a good year if it's just filled with Aaron Rodgers not wanting to be there. But if you have Jordan Love starting, it's just going to cause controversy. I don't know. It's just going to be an interesting year.
I mean, I definitely do agree with you with the whole Aaron Rodgers situation. I think my opinion on them right now is, granted that Rodgers stays. Now, I do think that Aaron Rodgers will be a Green Bay Packer next season, and he will be playing and everything. Because at the end of the day, and this is my take, I think Aaron Rodgers is being a colossal baby about the whole situation and crying for no reason.
He's on a good team. It's just like
he's on a good team that is consistently making a good playoff run. Like, they could make deep playoff runs.
Everyone loses. They lose every year in the NFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, I mean, that's always just down to like one extra player that they could, trade for or sign that could elevate them past the NFC and make it to the Super Bowl. The only thing is Aaron Rodgers he wants more money, but also wants to win the Super Bowl. See, now those things don't correlate very well. See, now look at what Tom Brady did. This is the only time we ever hear me talking about Tom Brady. Tom Brady willingly took pay cuts on the Patriots in order to make sure that Belichick and the front office was able to sign players that could fill heavy holes. Now, Rodgers is not willing to do that. Rodgers wants as much money, but the same status that Brady had, which is my problem with him. But aside from that whole situation, that whole controversy, I think if Rodgers stays on the Packers, that's a team that will be dangerous.
If he stays, that's the truth.
Exactly.
That's the question. But it's clear as day. You can tell he wants out.
Yeah, but I mean, he's won it out since 2018 when they lost a horrible, abysmal 6-9-1 season. But
Yeah.
after that, they rebounded into a team that again can go to the NFC Championship game like it's
But they could also go to the Super Bowl. But
they could. They
they
could.
could. But they got to keep that piece together. If they kick that field goal in the NFC Championship game, or if they made that one completion pass, we could have been talking overtime game right now.
Could have, but
Could have,
that's
and you never know what could have happened. But
it's too late
better
now.
team won.
Speculation is always every man's nightmare. So let's move on to the Bears. Now the Bears, I think they started off
This.
the offseason rough. Really,
Oh
really rough.
yeah,
Um
Allen Robinson doesn't want to be there. He gets
mhm.
franchise tagged.
Yeah,
And then you sign
force.
Andy Dalton out of all quarterbacks. And then you also get Justin Fields in the draft. Now, me personally, I would have started off never signing Andy Dalton.
I
Andy
agree.
Dalton, I don't see Andy Dalton as QB1. There were so many other options at quarterback that you could have had, or like you could have just waited for the draft and drafted Justin Fields, which I think that is a good pick. But I see day one Andy Dalton starting the first 4 games of the season, going. I don't see it being great, but and then Justin Fields takes the helm and he still learns under the Bears scheme of things.
Mhm.
And I just see I don't see the Bears doing well this year. I see another fourth or third place finish.
Wow.
Uh,
Okay.
they only got Allen Robinson at wide receiver, and then you got Andy Dalton, and then you have Justin Fields.
Okay. Now I'm taking an opposite transition on that. I know you say that the Bears are going to do bad. I think the Bears are actually going to do better than what they have. I don't think it's going to be like the 2018 season when they went 12-4?
I think so, yeah. And
It's not
then
going
they
to be
kick the
that
field, and
level.
then they
Yeah,
kick the field
that's
goal, and then the double doink.
it's on the double doink happened. Yeah, the fabled double doink. I don't think they're going to reach that level of stardom anytime soon. I don't think it's going to be
No,
this year,
it's
maybe next year. But I will say that the Bears look the best that they have in quite a bit of time. Their defense is still top 5. Their offense,
100%.
I'm not
100%.
going to lie, their offense doesn't look that bad now that I really look at it on paper. I mean, yeah, they forced Allen Robinson into a franchise tag, basically
I feel
holding out
bad for
against
him.
his will. I do feel bad for him as well. But
I
I
see
think
Allen Robinson getting traded.
I don't know. I think he's a little bit more willing now that he understands what he or who is going to be throwing to him.
I
Obviously
mean,
the
you got
departure.
Justin Fields, but
Yeah, yeah. The departure of Mitchell Trubisky is not going to hold too much weight over the quarterback situation. The signing of Andy Dalton was a little bit questionable, judging that there was still the whole at the time Russell Wilson potential trade and the Deshaun Watson potential trade, which didn't lead to anywhere because both are still on their original teams. Um,
sadly, but
yeah. Now, like I said, aside from that, the Bears' offense is not as bad as what everybody claims it to be. They still have Robinson, who, like I said, I still think is very willing to play now, obviously because of the quarterback situation. They still have Darnell Mooney, who is very underrated in my opinion, actually. Not
Darnell.
necessarily, yeah. I'm not entirely sure who their tight end is. I haven't really looked in there. I do know that their O line is serviceable. They still have
Yeah,
David Montgomery, who I think is again another underrated wide receiver. I'm sorry, running back. So, and going into the draft, I wasn't confident that the Bears were going to be anything big. But honestly, signing Justin Fields really clicked my mind. I
drafting
think,
Justin Fields.
huh?
Drafting.
Drafting, yes, drafting Justin Fields. I think that was probably the biggest hit that they had all offseason. It'll allow Matt Nagy to potentially save his job. You get a quarterback that on my board was second overall. I'm sorry, not
On
second
my
overall.
board, I see
Well,
him as a bust.
on your board, you see him as bust. On my board, I saw him as the second best quarterback in the entire draft class, aside from obviously Trevor Lawrence. But I think the Bears are a lot more capable than what many analysts and casual fans are willing to see. I think the Bears are going to do well. I say they're going to have a winning season, and I'll go more into what I think that they're going to do.
But do you see them finishing in first place?
No, I don't. The Packers are definitely going to be finishing in first place, in
Hmm.
my opinion. But I do see the Bears making it a close second for the division, right behind fighting it with the Vikings, which let's transcend into the Vikings.
So the Vikings.
The Vikings are another team that I think is obviously going to do well,
I
but you
I
don't
see
think
the
so?
Viking. I see the Vikings, honestly, hear me out on this.
Mm,
Shocking the world. I see them finishing first place.
okay. Why is that?
I just believe, like, not knowing much of their roster, but I know they have some star weapons. They have Kirk Cousins, and then I
Yep.
don't know really much what they did in the draft this year. You can back me up on this, but I just see this is their time to shine, and this is when the Vikings take first place. I just they've always been on that cusp of always finishing second or third, but I just see this year it's gonna be first place. Kirk Cousins is back healthy. He's
Mm,
a good quarterback. Even
yes.
though they lost Stephon Diggs to the Bills last season, I still see the Vikings having a good year.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I see 14-3 or 13 and
Wow.
4.
Wow. That's
That's
ambitious.
just what I see. That's what I think.
Okay.
But I
I
just see them having a good
mean,
year.
okay. I mean, I'll jump on the Vikings bandwagon with you. I don't think they're going to do.
I've always on the inside rooted for them.
I know. I don't think they're going to have 13, 14 wins, but I'll definitely give them
I mean,
potential
I got the
playoff push.
Packers at 10. I got the Packers
No.
at 10 wins.
Okay. I mean, the Vikings, I agree with you. I think Kirk Cousins is very underrated compared to the rest of the league. I think a lot of people give him a lot of slack. I'm sorry, a lot of flack because he's old. Oh, he just doesn't have the
Kirk Cousins,
capabilities.
he's a
I mean,
good
he's
quarterback.
definitely underrated. He's definitely not. I mean, definitely not top five, but I say he could potentially be top 10 quarterback this year. He consistently usually throws 4,000 yards, at least 20 plus
Yeah.
touchdowns, keeps his interceptions about 9, 10, which is average for a quarterback. And not to mention, he's throwing to rookie standout Justin Jefferson, who's
Yeah,
most
that's the
likely going to have a
receiver.
yeah, who's most likely going to have a significant sophomore leap like most second
Most
year players do.
receivers.
He still has Adam Thielen. Kyle Rudolph is still on the team, but I'm still iffy about Rudolph. I think he's slowly declining. Not slowly. I think he has declined, but I don't think he's as capable anymore. Um,
Agreed.
what else? I like their O line. I still like their O line. Their
Yeah,
defense
yeah.
looked better than what it did last year. They did sign Patrick Peterson in free
I like that
agency.
timing.
I do as well because it definitely addressed the cornerback need, which they desperately needed. They have a second year corner coming off being their CB number 2. Can't remember his name, but I can picture his face and how he plays. They still have Harrison Smith. Line is good. Linebacker 4 is still great. Special teams, coaching, everything is fine. Um, like I
Now
said, I'm with you. I
jumping into
think,
the Lions now.
yeah, no, I think the Vikings are going to do good. Not great, but good. No,
Average.
yeah, above average. Now let's just
Mediocre.
why don't we finish things off with the bottom feeder of the NFC North, the Detroit Lions. You want to start off with these guys?
I would love to.
Let's hear it.
Okay. The Detroit Lions, they traded for Jared Goff this offseason, and they traded their former franchise quarterback, Matthew Stafford. Now, what I see about this, I feel like Matthew Stafford on the Rams, he's gonna do well. He's gonna lead them to the playoffs. He's finally out of losing Detroit.
Hmm.
Sorry, Detroit fans, if you're watching. But I just see I don't it's Jared Goff, and then you got running backs Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift, and then your wide receivers TJ Hendrickson. Those are three playmakers you have, but it's not enough. Though
Uh-huh.
I just it's not enough to be like your franchise playmaker or like your shiny new weapon. But
Hmm.
you also get Penei Sewell in the draft. I do give I give the Lions a couple more years, maybe 2, 3 years, then gradually going into the playoffs, talking deep runs, winning seasons.
Hmm.
I just see this year it's still that rebuilding year, but you get a couple more wins than last year. Not double digit wins, but not 5 wins. I see you in the middle of 5 and 10 wins.
Okay. Um, Not bad. I mean, let's just start off with this. I mean, the Lions went from mediocrity to full reblown rebuild mode. They traded away the quarterback that they've had forever to a
I'm
team.
still a fan of Matthew
I
Stafford.
love Matthew Stafford. I mean, I don't
He's a
understand how
good
people could
quarterback
not.
out of University of Georgia.
Exactly. I don't see how people can't like him. I mean, he went from a team that was dead
Sucked.
last in every major defensive aspect passing touchdowns allowed, passing yards allowed, rushing yards allowed, to a team that was first in all of that. So now Matthew Stafford is on a team that not only can get him to the playoffs, but like I said, can get them to the Super Bowl. But anyway, that's the Rams.
That's
That's a
another
different.
stay for another speculation.
That's a different episode. Right now, Jared Goff, the whole trade revolving around Goff, I think was a great trade. They got rid of Stafford at the cost of their, or I'm sorry, they got rid of Stafford, but they inherited a future, is what I'll say. They got multiple first and second round draft picks for Stafford.
They have Jared Goff, and
They
Jared Goff
have,
did go to the Super Bowl. Remember,
yes,
people forget that he did go to a Super Bowl,
yeah, but
but
I
he
also
didn't
kind of
win.
put that on the terms of the defense. Even though Goff did have, he was good that year. I will say that. I do say
Yeah,
I credit
same
the
with Todd
defense
Gurley
for
that
that.
year, but
Well, that was
mm,
before the arthritis. Um,
yeah, reiterating on that,
you
like
know,
arthritis is another thing that is bad.
well, yes, thank you. Didn't know that was a bad thing. But no, I think the Goff trade was great. They have a
Yeah,
potential to reinvigorate Jared Goff's career in Detroit, which is a sentence I never really thought I would be able to say, especially somebody getting their career back in Detroit. Um, they got Panay Salone, which I guarantee is going to be a anchor of a left tackle for
I see
however
him as
long
the next
he's.
Tristan Wirfs.
I would
He's the next.
say Anthony Munoz, which is a Hall of Fame left tackle, but that works
Yeah,
too. Um, TJ Hawkinson is probably their only major offensive weapon that they still have for Goff to throw, the tight end. Other than that, wide receivers is abysmal. I mean, if your wide receiver one is Tyrell Williams, that's scary. They did lose
yeah.
Marvin Jones. They lost Kenny Galladay.
God,
Every major offensive weapon is gone.
dead.
They still have the rookie, well, not rookie anymore, but the
Former.
running back guy. I can't remember his name.
DeAndre Swift.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought it was Swift.
He's
So
a good running back.
he's good. The defense is rebuilding. I don't think the defense is going to be dead last, but I will think they're going to be staying around that high 20s situation.
But sadly, I do see Detroit having a top 10 pick next year.
I agree. Detroit will definitely not be making any major headlines this year, but I will say this: Detroit fans coming from a team that was rebuilding not too long ago. I know your
Same
pain,
with
and
me and my team.
yeah, I know, and
Well,
it
both
does
teams
get brighter on the other
one
side
of
of
my
the
teams.
other side of the bridge.
Reiterating off that.
Detroit's taking a hit this year, but their future looks great. So
Reiterating off Alex, being a Bucks and a Raider fan, I'm used to the sucking. So
it's
no
something
no bandwagon here. But
it's something
they're
that everybody goes through at least one time in
the
their fandom.
Raiders though they're in that rebuilding stage.
Yeah, no kidding.
They've been in
Alrighty.
for a while, but that's an episode for another day.
Yeah. Alrighty. So now that we've reached the end of the episode, go ahead and give me your predictions. First through fourth place in records for each team.
All right, let me know if I'm crazy, whatever, in the comments or whatever. Vikings take first place,
Yeah, you're
14
crazy.
and 3 or 13 and 4.
Yeah, you're crazy.
Packers, I have them at 10 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here.
Mm.
The Lions shock the world and go 6 and 11. And then in last place, I have the Bears at 5 and 12.
Wow, you really don't give the Bears justice. Okay.
Sorry, Bears fans, but
You're not sorry.
yes, I am.
Alrighty. So my thing, first place Packers. I'm going 13 and 4, barring that Rodgers is still the quarterback by the time that their regular season starts. If not, I would say it'd be closer to 9 and 8. But this is with Rodgers. 13 and 4, first place in the NFC division, getting that bye week. Excuse me. I have the Bears in second place, going 10 and 7. I think Justin Fields is the potential answer for the future once he steps down, or I'm sorry, once Dalton steps down. I have the Vikings also going 10 and 7, but in third place with a loss against the Bears in one of the final weeks. And in last place, I have the Lions going 4 and 13. I have no faith in that defense doing anything, but knowing the Lions, they're going to have some weird little upset game against a team that has playoff implications. Now, playoff-wise, with that being said, I have the Packers in first. They are going to beat Washington in the second round, but lose to the Rams in the NFC Championship game.
Sorry, Packer fans, but
I'm sorry, but it's just a trend at this point. I mean,
4
Eh,
years in a row.
I just see it happening. I see, yeah, Packers lose the NFC Championship game to the Rams, who then Rams go on to the Super Bowl.
I don't see the Rams going on a Super Bowl, but
The
hey.
Vikings went, I think, either eighth or ninth in the NFC, barely missing the playoffs. But the Bears definitely made it to the playoffs. They're at number 6 at 10-7, but losing to the LA Rams in the first round, and obviously the Lions didn't make the playoffs. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. Um, but that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, leave a like, leave a comment. Tell us how right or how wrong we are.
Tell us out.
Yeah, just tell us whatever you feel like, honestly. And don't hurt my feelings.
Don't hurt
But
mine either, but hey.
follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. We're gonna be a
Socials
little
will
bit,
be up soon.
yeah, I
Well,
mean
they are,
they
but
are up, but we're gonna be more active starting on those, definitely getting interactions with fans and stuff going. So but yeah, go ahead if you like the content, just keep on holding on. Next week, or I'm sorry, not next week. Next video will be the NFC East, and then after that we'll transition into the AFC series. So but
maybe we'll leave you on a cliffhanger here. Maybe not. We'll have a couple special guests on.
potentially.
Potential.
Let's
Potential.
potential. We can't promise anything. But then thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you all real soon.